Here we have some word problems on proportions. Let's just read this one first, and then we'll talk about what a proportion is and how we use it to solve problems like this. It says a machine produces 264 bolts in 42 minutes. So every 42 minutes churns out 264 bolts. At the same rate, how many minutes would it take to produce 308 bolts? So the way we typically write a proportion is we have two ratios, two fractions set equal to each other, and they have to have the same things in the same order. So I'm going to take this set of information from our first part of the problem and create a ratio, a fraction. So I'm going to say 264 bolts per every 42 minutes. I'm going to set it equal to our next ratio, our next fraction. I've got bolts on top, so I need to have number of bolts on the top as well. I've got minutes on the bottom, so I need minutes on the bottom, but minutes is what we're trying to find out. It says how many minutes would it take to produce 308 bolts? When you set up a proportion like this, you can use it to solve for the variable in a pretty easy way. We do this technique called cross multiplying. So you take the diagonals, multiply them together, and set them equal to each other. So this would be 42 times 308 on one side, and set equal to 264 times x. And let's see, 42 times 308 is 12,936. And then to solve for x, we divide both sides by 264. And that is going to be 49 minutes. So our answer there is 49 minutes. It's good to check back. Does that make sense? We did 264 bolts in 42 minutes. We want a little bit more, 308, not a ton more. And it's taking 49 minutes. That's a little bit more than 42. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's try one more for practice here. It says a certain medicine is given in an amount proportional to a patient's body weight. Suppose a patient weighing 162 pounds requires 216 milligrams of medicine. What is the weight of a patient who requires 220 milligrams of medicine? Okay, so in this first set of data, first set of numbers, we have a 162-pound person who gets 216 milligrams of medicine. In the second set, we want to find the weight, and that's what we put on top here. So we're going to put our variable up there, and the amount of medicine was 220 milligrams. Looks like that's just a little bit more, so I would imagine this person X, is going to weigh just a little bit more than 162. Again, to find this out, we cross multiply and set those two products equal to each other. So that's going to be 162 times 220 equals 216 times x. And 162 times 220 is 35,640. And then, of course, to solve here, we just divide both sides by 216. And we get x equals, 165 pounds, so just 3 pounds more. And that makes sense from the numbers we saw in the problem. So that is how to deal with word problems on proportions.